everyone, welcome to Rain Francis Art for Kids. My name is Rain. In this series, Summer Party, we draw and paint everything that has to do with summertime. So let's begin. Today I'm going to show you how to draw this sailboat, perfect for summertime. So let's begin. This is what you'll need for today's drawing. You're going to need a piece of paper or a drawing pad. I have a dollar store drawing pad. It's 8.5 by 11 inches. You're going to need a pencil, an eraser, and these always come in handy, old paintbrushes that you have not used for paint. I bought this at the dollar store. You can just wipe off your page with this. It works really well. And of course you're going to need some color. You're going to need some blues. I have a light blue and a dark blue. I've got orange, yellow, pink, brown, and black. You can use any colors you want for your sailboat. The only thing I recommend is that you have a blue for the water. Unless you want to make your water green, that'll be okay too. But really, use any colors you want for the sailboat. I also have this fine liner black marker that I'm going to be using to outline everything at the end. So let me clear all this off and let's begin. Oops, I accidentally drew on my page there. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, about 2/3 of the way down your page, I want you to draw the water. So we're going to do some waves. Just squiggly lines for waves. Just like that. And now we're going to draw the boat. It's not going to be too tall. It's going to be very short. And it's coming out of the water. So I'm doing a little bit of a curved line here. A straight line all the way across. And then a straight line down. That's the bottom of my sailboat. Now in the middle of the boat, I'm going to draw a pole. Just a pole that goes up like this with a little round bubble on the top and then down. Okay. Now the first sail is coming right in the corner of where we drew that little round I said round bubble on top. Watch how I draw the sail. It's going to come down curved. It's going to touch the boat. Another curved line like this. Touch the boat. And then bring it back up to that little corner. Okay, that's the first sail. Now up here in this corner, we're going to draw a little flag, okay, and it's going to be a triangle, kind of a curvy triangle, just like that. And from the bottom of the flag here, we're going to draw our second sail, and it's going to come out pretty far out. Watch how far out I draw it, about here, but it's not coming down all the way down to the boat like this one, just about here. And then I'm going to go like this, and it's going to touch the pole. I'm going to draw a few stripes, because this sail I'm going to draw blue and pink, so I want to have a few stripes. So that's my first stripe. Here's my second stripe, and I'll put a third stripe here in the bottom. Okay, 1, 2, 3 stripes. You don't have to put any if you don't want to, or you can put 4, or you can make them smaller or bigger, whatever you like. So we've drawn the outline. Why don't we start coloring it in? The first thing I'm going to color is the pole, and that's why I have my brown color. So that long pole that we drew with the little brown bubble on top, let's make that brown. If you don't have brown, or if you don't want to use brown, you can use gray or silver. And if you're using coloring pencils, I want you to be very careful and don't press down too hard because you don't want to break the tip of your pencil. And also, turn your pencil once in a while. Turn it, turn it, turn it, turn it. That way you don't wear it all down on one side. When the pencils wear down on one side, they tend to break. I wanted to start with the pole because it could get a little confusing with all of the lines that we put in there. So if we know where the pole is, then we know where our sail is. When I think of sailboats, I think of summer. I love summertime. I love going to the lake, I haven't been on a boat in a while though. Okay, what I'm going to do is put in a second layer, and all that means is that I'm coloring it in a second time. And that's why you don't have to press down very hard, because you can get a nice dark color or a nice vibrant color by putting layers. You can do 1 layer, 2 layers, 3 layers, and that means you color it in once, twice, 3 times, whatever you want. But you can see the difference. This is 1 layer here, and this is 2. It's a lot, there's a lot more color on there. Don't forget to turn your pencil. There. So I'm done with my brown. I think I'm going to take my yellow now, and my flag is going to be yellow. So I'm going to color in my flag yellow. And don't forget to turn your pencil, and don't press down too hard because we're going to put in 2 or maybe 3 layers. Okay, I'm going to put in a second layer. If you see me doing this, by the way, that's me turning my pencil. So if I don't tell you to turn your pencil and you see me go like this, turn your pencil. Sometimes we forget. And we remember when our pencil breaks. See, I've got 2 layers. I might even have more. I just kept going and going. It's a nice, vibrant yellow. Now the next thing I'm going to do is take my light blue, and I'm going to color in this whole sail with the light blue color. I have some dust on my page here. Have you ever gone on a sailboat? I've never been on a sailboat myself. I've been on other types of boats. I've been in a rowboat, a motorboat. I also have been in a canoe and a kayak. I love kayaking. I used to live in an area where I had a lake within 10 minutes walk. So I would keep my kayak by the lake. I had to put a chain on it so no one would take it, but I would chain it up to a tree. And every morning in the summer, I would go to that lake and kayak really, really early in the morning. I'm talking like sometimes before the sun came up. I was walking down to that lake, and the water was so calm and quiet. Sometimes there was fog. It was just paradise. I hope you're remembering to turn your pencil, because I completely forgot it as I was talking. And there was one time when I was walking down to the lake along the road, and I heard something. It sounded like this. Like this. Like that. And I was thinking, what the heck is that? Because I lived in the mountains, so it could have been any animal. And I had a little flashlight with me. And all of a sudden, a huge beaver ran across the road right in front of me. It was his tail hitting the pavement. Flap, flap, flap. I froze. I don't want to bother a beaver. They have big teeth. But that was really something. I had never seen a beaver that close before. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put a second layer of this nice light blue onto my sail. And I talked about this in one of my other videos too. Don't forget to turn your pencil. The video I did, actually, how to draw a blue whale. I talked about going whale watching on the Atlantic Ocean. And we were in a, I don't know what kind of boat it was. But it was really something, seeing those whales. I love being on the water. I feel very comfortable being on the water. Don't forget to turn your pencil. See the difference? One layer down here, 2 layers up here. And you know, there are some areas like here that might need a 3rd layer if I want to make it a little more vibrant blue. I'll see at the end if I want to put a 3rd layer on there. I also remember one time going to my friend's, I was a teenager, and my friend's parents had a cottage in New York, not in New York City, but in the state of New York, along Lake Champlain, which was a huge lake. And they had a little, it was called a dinghy. A dinghy is just a little kind of, I guess it looks a little bit like a rowboat. And I took out the dinghy one morning, and I just stayed on the lake the whole day by myself. I brought some food with me, and I had at the time I had my Walkman, and I listened to music, and I laid down in the sunshine, and my friends thought I was crazy, but I felt great out there. So I think I'm going to just quickly give this a 3rd layer. Just really quick. Just to fill in whatever spots I think need to be maybe a little more blue. See how I'm using large strokes? I'm not really going detailed here, just getting in some more color onto that sail. Okay, so that one's done. Now I'm going to work on this sail here. And I'm going to make this pink and dark blue. To make things easier, I'm going to do the whole sail. I'm going to just color it in pink for now, so I don't have to fuss with the stripes. And dark blue is darker than pink, so I think I'm going to be okay if I put the dark blue over the pink. We'll see. I hope it doesn't turn out a bad color, but we'll see. Turn your pencil once in a while. Okay, don't forget to turn your pencil. Did you put stripes on your sail? Or are you just doing it all one color? All right, now before I put a second layer of the pink, I'm going to take my dark blue color and I'm going to make these stripes dark blue. And we're going to see, it might look a little purpley because pink and blue together, we'll see. But it's probably dark enough, you see? It's dark enough that it covers the pink, so that's okay. I just thought that was easier than trying to just fill in, you know, and don't get anything into the stripes, and we're supposed to have a little bit of fun here. I didn't want to make it too detailed. But now I'm going to be careful not to get that blue outside of the stripes. Don't forget to turn your pencil. And if you're using crayons, don't forget to turn your crayon. You don't want to wear your crayon down all on one side. And if you're using markers, you might already be done because we don't have to layer with markers. The color is pretty vibrant in markers. Turn your pencil once in a while. Okay. Now I'm going to go in with the pink and put a second layer here. And I'm going to see what happens if I put a layer of pink onto the blue. I'm just going to see what happens. I'm curious what that's going to do. Doesn't really do anything, but actually it makes the blue a little more dark than here. So I'm just going to put pink all over. And then we don't have to put in a second layer of the dark blue. You know why that's working like that? Because the pink is helping the blue to blend a little bit. Now, I'm not going to start talking about blending right now because it might be a little complicated. But you can use certain colors to blend other colors. And I'll try to do a video about that so that it's easy to understand. But for now, we don't have to worry about that. We're just putting pink everywhere. Turning your pencil, don't forget. I'm glad I did this. It makes it a lot easier than trying not to get pink everywhere or blue everywhere. Doesn't that look better than this? I think it does. I'm turning my pencil, are you? All right. I think that looks fabulous. Okay. Next up, we're going to take our orange color, and I'm going to color in my boat orange, and I'm going to be careful not to get any orange in the waves, okay? And I'm sure I'm going to do a second layer of orange. I was telling you about that time I went to my friend's parents' cottage on Lake Champlain, where I just laid down in the dinghy all day. It was so relaxing. But I remember two things from that day. Don't forget to turn your pencil. The first thing was my friends are silly sometimes. Or my friends back then were not. I haven't talked to them since high school, but I remember them telling me there was a monster in the lake. Every lake seems to have a monster, don't you think? Do you know of any monsters in the lakes that you go to? I mean, the big one we know in Scotland, there's the Loch Ness monster. Loch in, I think is it Gaelic? The Scottish language is Gaelic, I think. Loch means lake. So Loch Ness is Ness Lake, right? So there's the Loch Ness monster. They call her Nessie. She's supposed to be this big sea creature in there. No one's ever really caught her. It's kind of, they call it a myth. Some people believe she's there. Some people think it's made up. But apparently, the monster in Lake Champlain's name was Champy. Champlain, Champy, get it? And they were saying, oh, you shouldn't go out alone, and Champy's gonna get you. Well, I actually was a little nervous, but I didn't meet Champy that day. Okay, I'm gonna go in and put a second layer of orange on my sailboat. What color did you choose for your sailboat? Did you choose orange like me? So that was the first thing from that day, Champy. And the second thing, because I was on the waves, you know, the boat was going like this on the waves. I remember when I went to bed that night, I actually closed my eyes and I felt like I was still on the waves. It was such a weird feeling. I wasn't dizzy or anything. I just felt like I was still on the water. It took a little while for me to feel stable again on my 2 feet, but yeah, being on the water that long, I felt like I was still on the waves. It was really interesting. Has that ever happened to you? Maybe my brain was just not working well that day. But any chance I get, I love being out on the water. I'm just being careful not to get that orange into the water area here. Okay, I'm going to go in and just quickly put in a third layer just to give it a little bit more color, or as we say, to add more pigment to the canvas. Anything that you're drawing or painting on, a piece of paper, an actual canvas, or some wood, that's your canvas. That's the artistic term for where you're applying your paint or your pencils or your color or your ink or whatever it may be. It's your canvas. And this here, the color that we're applying is called pigment. So we are applying a third layer of pigment to our canvas. Those are some big artistic words for you if you want to learn how to speak like an artist. Or you can do like I do. I'm just coloring it a third time on my paper. Nothing fancy. All right, so how are you guys doing? I think mine's looking pretty good right now. So the last thing I'm going to do is the water. And I'm not going to do my whole page here. I'm just going to do maybe like this area here. Okay, so I've got my light blue again, and I'm going to do the waves. And I'm going to be using large circular motion here because it's a large area. And this especially is a place where you want to turn your pencil, because I'm basically using the side of my pencil to apply that blue or that pigment. So I want to turn it once in a while, or it'll wear down really quickly since I'm doing large circles here. Turning it once in a while. I'm still trying to be careful. I don't want to get that blue onto the orange. And I'm turning my pencil, okay? There we go. Now what I'm going to do is take that dark blue and put a very, very light layer. And I'm not going everywhere. I'm just kind of, I'm turning it as I'm doing this, by the way. I'm turning my pencil. Just kind of here and there. Okay. And I'm going to take my light blue and do the same thing again. Just a little bit here and there. Nothing fancy. I just want to have a mix of the dark and the light blue in the water. There. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my black fine liner marker. You could use a regular black coloring pencil if you want, but I'm going to do a little bit of outlining. And I think the only thing I really, let's see, I'm going to start with the waves, and I know we started here with our coloring pencil, but I'm going to start at the edge here. And carefully outline the waves. Ooh, be careful, Rain. Not being very careful here. Okay. I just want to fix that a little bit. I'm going to put some orange in there just to hide my mistake a little bit. And here too. There. Oh, and here too. Oh boy. Good. Okay. Now, let me see. I'm going to take my blue, the dark blue again, and I'm just going to put in some waves like this. All right. And maybe a few light colors too, just to make it nice and wavy. And I think that's all I'm going to do. Usually I outline everything with the black marker, but I don't think I need to this time. I think it looks pretty good. But what I am going to do is sign my artwork. I want you to do the same thing. I want you to be really, really proud of the drawing that you did today. So always sign your work. Well, I hope you enjoyed this drawing lesson, my friends. And remember, Mom and Dad, if you post your kids' art on Instagram, don't forget to tag me. The link is in the description below and in the About section of my channel. So we'll see you next time on Summer Party. Thanks for watching. Bye.